The park has been opened and available to the public since May of 2009. We started working on the park on site here in 2007 and it was completed in May 2009. The park was originally here as a park with a series of playing pitches in the early 2000s, but there was a local plan that had been made for planning reasons regarding the development of the whole area, and a focal point of that plan was the recognition of the need to have a neighbourhood park and a community park. I suppose the main plan would be to try and interlink with the communities as they develop. It's a very young set of communities here, bringing the features of the park to them, letting them come and utilise it.
Some people fly in their dreams, it's like that, you know, it's like you're just kind of flying, you know, getting away from it all.
It really uplifts you. Sounds really kind of religious, but it does. It really gets you going.
Started this Girl Skater group because there was nothing for girls in Ireland. Like, skateboarding is associated with teenage boys, you know? So we really needed just for girls to see other girls out there.
It's pretty daunting because it's a male-dominated sport, and then just being with girls skating, we can motivate each other, and it's fun as well. We can have a laugh. Yeah, it's girls.
Skateboarding is mostly seen as a kids or teenager sport. The more parks that have been popping up now, I've noticed a lot of older people who used to skate when they were kids kind of going, we never had that when I was a kid, and I can go and skate now and not be looked on as a criminal. So it's good, it kind of encourages people to get up and do something. My son, he started longboarding. I would go out as the taxi driver and photographer in that, and then the car broke down and I started going around on his board, tandem-wise, and decided to have a go because I hadn't been on it in, I won't say how many years, but 20 plus anyway. And once I discovered I had my balance, I thought, right, I have to get one, so got my own board.
This is a really nice park. I mean, parks are cool in general, you know, parks are really good, and, you know, the more the better for all communities. And in skateboarding community, obviously it's essential to have a skate park.
There's something for everyone really, you know, there's big things, small things, and it's nice that you can progress from one small thing to a big thing, for example, like a big ramp or a big slope. Yeah, and it's good because there's loads of people around you, and if you see other people doing stuff, it kind of motivates you to do stuff too, so it's good, it's community.
When I was a kid, we spent most of our times in the park. Your ma wouldn't see you, and the sense of community got lost because they got rid of all our parks and playgrounds, and it's really, really important. Isn't it great just to see a load of kids not getting into trouble, they're not hanging around street corners, and they're just having crack, they're playing. You don't see kids playing anymore, do you know what I mean? And that's what I get from it, to see them all out just doing that. It kind of gives you hope that they're not all out, you know, because they get a bad rap. All teenagers are just tarred with the same brush. So I just think it's great to see them all out doing something different. They're not all bad, do you know what I mean?
When there's no parks, then you just end up skating public places or something, I don't know.
I think the more people get to see the safety element of it and the organisation of it, and that we actually care about what we're doing and we don't wreck the parks. We want to make sure everything is, you know, once that gets out there, we might get more permissions in places to skate, because that's the hardest part, is not all parks will allow you to skate, you know.
People encourage you to do things around in the parks and stuff, like you get more confidence in trying to do a new trick or trying to do a new like slope or whatever, and I don't know, like I find things are funner when you're with other people. Like it wouldn't be as fun if you're by yourself. So
it's still looked on as a bunch of hoodlums wrecking the place, and it's not. Like skateboarding, it's such a community spirit. Like everyone in Ireland who skates kind of knows each other, and you know, and they look out for each other, and you go to a park and like it's like a big family. And I think if we could kind of encourage more of that, it'd be great. So.
There was a competition, an international competition held in 2003 that, where the brief was to actually design for this new area of the city, really the last green site available for such development. The competition was very fierce really, because there was a lot of entries for it, and the features that you see here today really are the result of that. And the main features really here are a large water feature with a long promenade going from the entrance point up at the Boulevard Road. That Boulevard Road is the access really into Clongriffin estate. And at the end of the promenade you've got the main water feature, and the water pond that is here actually feeds into a water treatment system, which is a series of cells, and this is part of the sustainability, which was one of the main features of the design. So we have sustainability marked by way of the power production through the turbines, which are a very obvious feature of the park, 5 of them in number here along the promenade, along then with the movement of water from the main pond through this series and circulated and recirculated within the main feature here, and being cleansed by the growth of vegetation and deposits from the water being taken out by that growth. So on the eastern side of the park you've got the series of cells, and the water flows through that and comes back down through a fountain system at close to the entrance to the park. Here where the water leaves the main pond and goes into the general cleaning system, which is, as I say, is a series of water cells or reed beds. The water goes through here and uses the nutrient in the water to take pollutants out of it. So the plants are growing away using that nutrients, and as the water flows through these ponds into the next cell and the further cell, and there are a number of cells up along the eastern side of the park, what happens is that the water quality improves, and then it is returned to the main water feature up near the entrance to the park through fountains. And in that way the plants that are growing in these cells are actually utilising the pollutants that may have gathered in the water while it was travelling through them, and mimics actually some of what happens in nature as well. But there are a number of these wetland type of water improvement systems around the country. It's considered a fairly normal system of water cleaning. But we have it here as part of the features within the park that people can see the way we treat our water here. We depend on water that is draining into the park from the general lands around, and if we need to top it up, it is really through either a well, or we depend on what is draining off the playing pitches and whatever immediately around us. The turbines, they're also a mark of our sustainability. We wanted to mark the use of wind power. They're not actually of your standard commercial units, but they're a large unit all the same. And the aim is to produce the power that is used in the park. And any excess power then is sent to the national grid. The main power requirement that we've got here are the series of lights. We've got pumping systems throughout the whole pond and water system. Basically it's the job of the wind to keep us going. Each of those has a capacity of it's 250 kilowatts. And underneath, how much it's reaching that capacity varies obviously with the wind speeds that are here. We do have, in very strong winds, there is a braking system. So the thing is, they have to run in a safe way. So we can't have the rotors moving too fast that they're actually causing too much movement to the masts. So that is all part and parcel of the basic design of the system. And as I say, it was targeted really to provide enough power to power the park. Now, my hope is in time that technology will move on and that we'll be able to use some of our machinery and not only the lighting and pumping equipment that's in the park, and that also can be run from the power that the turbines produce. But underneath that, no, those are built on fairly large foundations, and the pond is a constructed pond with liners, and our target is to try and maintain the life of those for as long as possible without having to renew. When we are short on wind, then we do have to import it from the grid. At the same time, we try to really keep that to a minimum if we can at all.
How you doing? My name's Alan Connor. I'm the first team manager of Trinity Donameath FC. Basically the club it's amalgamation of two local clubs. Firstly was Trinity Sports and Leisure, and secondly was Donameath Celtic FC. They both amalgamated back 5 years ago. At the moment in the club now we have 16 underage teams, which would be junior level. We have 2 senior teams, which would be a Sunday team and a Saturday team. We have an over 35s team. We actually have a newly created ladies team, and then we also have an academy between the ages 5 to 7 with about 30 kids at the minute. Obviously since we got all the new facilities and the park and that, it kind of has brought the community together. There's a place for all youngsters to play, there's playgrounds, there's everything in the whole area, there's a baseball field that people get involved in as well, you know. So if you come down here in the summer, the park does be packed, you know, which is great. You know, it's somewhere for young lads to hang out, kick a ball around. And then now that we actually have the club, we cater for all ages, right up to senior level, and then even the lads that the over 35s as well can still come down and kick a ball around if they're able to, you know. What we're trying to do now is we have brilliant facilities, and basically what we're trying to do is there's massive other clubs in the area, but we're trying to keep all the local lads as local as possible and actually keep them in the area and keep them off the streets and get them interested in playing football at an early age. That's why they set up the academy. I find myself that I'm a local lad myself, and I don't think there's a better feeling than playing for your local team and winning trophies and playing football with all your mates. So we're trying to encourage all young lads to get involved with the club from the area. And obviously, you know, there's no better feeling than winning trophies than playing with your friends, you know, growing up as well, and to keep people on the straight and narrow, I think, as well. The pitches are top quality, you know. We're basically the first team, we've only been recently promoted up to Premier B, and the facilities here would rival any Premier A team which is in the AUL, you know, so we'd actually have much better facilities. A lot of the teams don't even have clubhouses, don't have their own private pitches. They have to play up in the AUL where they rent out pitches throughout the season, where we have our own pitch here. We've actually 2 pitches to choose from. Basically everything you need, you know, actually to set up a decent first team. It has the whole thing, you know, since the whole clubhouse was built, it's got a real buzz going in the community, and you know, we've Trinity Gaels here as well, so the options there, you know, to either play soccer or GA, which is brilliant, you know. If you come down here any night on a good evening, you see women out walking the dogs and lads out going for jogs, people working out. There's little training stations where there's chin-up bars, dip bars and everything, and health and fitness is so important now. Everybody seems to be getting out doing a bit, you know, so it just be buzzing down here in the evening time most evenings. It's one of them things, if something's on your doorstep, you know, you'd be a fool not to use it, and we've been lucky enough that we've had a decent enough summer. So this is probably the busiest summer I've seen down here this year. We've been back pre-season training 4 weeks, and every night you come down here, there's lads out jogging, ladies out jogging, everybody working out, and it's brilliant, you know. At least everyone's getting active, you know, and it's very important to stay healthy this day and age, you know. Yeah, this season obviously we were originally registered for Premier C. Howth Celtic actually pulled out of the league, and the same with St Malachy's, so we were lucky enough to get bumped up to Premier B. So we've got in a lot of new quality players now, so we're hoping that that extra bit of quality will have a good push now in Premier B. It's obviously a higher standard, tougher teams, but we think we're up for the challenge, you know. We've been back 4 weeks now, the lads are flying fit, so we're doing all we can and I need to just get this club back up where it should be, up in the top tier of football. And that's the main thing, you know. The main encouragement we have here is that the core group of players we have here are all local lads, and that's what you need to be successful. You need a core group of lads that actually care for the club, that play with their heart and will give you 110%, you know, and that's what we have down here, which is great so far.
Most people think of straight lines as being very definite. You can see an end and you're directed very strongly. All of this affects pace, because if you're walking on a curve, you tend to slow down. If you see a straight line and there's an end to it, you tend to walk faster and you're aiming for your target. Little things in design that actually make you slow down a little bit and appreciate a little bit more what's around you, you know. Like in here, quite a lot of people would look at that here and say, oh, look at all the weeds, and in fact that's very biodiverse rich. There's an awful lot in there. A lot of species, a lot of food sources for insects, a lot of, this would be potentially a route for bats to go up through this avenue of planting. And in fact, when the park was being developed originally, a bat roost was identified at the northern side of the park, which was incorporated into the general design, and that was respected in the construction of the park. So every element of wildlife, along with human life, is considered in relation to what we are trying to deliver here. Well, it's not only important for the park, I think it's important for all of our lives, is to recognise that we can't just continually keep on using up resources that are limited. So we've got to best utilise the resources we can. I suppose a lot of it is a symbolism, whereas we can see from the turbines that they are producing power. They are an indication of the way perhaps more should be thought of in relation to using resources that we've got around us. A bit like the water quality improvement, likewise with our biodiversity, it's recognition of the positive aspects in our environment that we can enjoy and utilise properly. Plus the fact that it gives a message to the wider city community in relation to the features that a suburban park like this can have, and the emphasis and sort of guidance that it can give to other parks yet to be built. To be aware of the limitations that are around, to use that well in your design and the way you live your life, certainly is a reasonable approach to living. My hope is for the communities that get to enjoy the park, because our aim is to make people generally aware, but to provide enjoyment and opportunity for people to live in this community here. And when sustainability is part of that, then it is a good message for them to and the generations to follow to accept as being part of what we at the start of the 21st century wanted to bring forward, rather than just continuously utilising and overutilising scarce resources. I think our main message for anybody would be come and enjoy the place first and foremost, and then get whatever the park has to offer to them individually and personally, because certainly even sitting on this bench here, there's a relaxation associated with the place which is separate to the standard pace of city life. And most parks offer that as a feature. This here is very definitely a park of that ilk.